Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, General VanHerck, for your many, many years of service to this country. It is deeply respected and also appreciated. On your unfunded priorities list, you included several requests for programs to strengthen domain awareness, allowing us to better detect and also to track potential threats. Can you describe in detail some of the capabilities you've requested and why they are so vital for your needs?
Thanks, Senator. Absolutely. Over-the-horizon radar capability acceleration would procure a test asset. It's $55 million to go faster to give us the capability rather than fielding capabilities in 8 to 10 years. Maybe we could shorten that to 4 to 5 years to enable me to get after the hypersonics that I described earlier, the cruise missiles, et cetera. By the way, I need Canada to do the same thing. A fielding of a capability in a decade from now is not where we need to be. So those are some of the dollars there. There's $55 million. There's $211 million in 9 long-range mobile radars that would help me plug the gaps when we have radar failures or to get after critical defense infrastructure. If tasked to do that, as we move around the country, I can move those radars to give me additional domain awareness. That's a couple of examples.
Okay, thank you. I know that NORTHCOM is required to track all kinds of threats to the homeland, from the Chinese spy balloons to the hypersonics that you mentioned. Do you have tools you need right now to be able to defend against them? Not just to track them, but to defend?
Yeah, so for the high-altitude balloon, I think we're in a good place for that. For hypersonics and cruise missiles, hypersonic specifically, the U.S. Space Force's proliferated low Earth orbit capability and satellite constellation will get us there, along with the HBTSS that MDA is working on. But we can't wait decades to field these things. So any way that we can accelerate those capabilities. Let me give you an example. We're stuck in an industrial age process for acquiring, and we field things in serial processes. In today's digital and information environment, we can virtually test, we can virtually and do things in parallel. These are things we should do differently to field capabilities faster. I would also ask for your help here in Congress. When we go faster, we may have some failures. Let's not take a 2-year investigation of those failures. Let's jump back on the horse and ride and move forward. And we have to be as transparent in the department with Congress as possible and make sure that you're part of the discussion.
We always learn from failures, too. In fact, in many cases, we learn more. General Richardson, you made the comment that you have 2% of the ISR right now in SOUTHCOM. How does that lack of ISR limit your options as a commander?
So it does limit. I've got a very large AOR when you look at Central America, South America, the Caribbean as well, and all the counter-narcotics or the narcotics flow out of the region, and the ability to see malign activity and be able to expose it. And that's really what we need the ISR and the domain awareness to provide.
You don't necessarily need the very high-tech 5Gen ISR at this point in time for your AOR, do you?
I need a little bit of that, but some of the lower capable type platforms work very well in this region, and then the long dwell duration works well.
So you would encourage us to look at considering keeping those other platforms?
Well, at the as we talked about, Senator, it's always that trying to turn over and get the next wave of technology to be able to have that while keeping some legacy going. But certainly, we have some low-end type things that we could utilize in the SOUTHCOM AOR.
Okay, thank you. General VanHerck, have you seen any advances or movements from China or Russia in the Arctic lately?
Absolutely, Senator. Russia has modernized their fleet of icebreakers. They've modernized their strategic defenses along there, their submarine forces. China is sailing into the Arctic under the guise of research vessels, and we know they're doing military operations, surveying the seabed. You've seen that recently as Canada released their recovery of a Chinese buoy. Those are all things that are ongoing in the Arctic right now.
And General Richardson, do you see China presently working even harder to build access and influence in Latin America?
Absolutely, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.